take a shot every time I say intentions in this video. Hello, my name is Taylor and welcome to my first YouTube video. I have decided to make a YouTube channel for quite a few reasons, but I won't get into those now. Instead, my first video is all about my 2025 vision board / resolutions, kind of just overall intentions for the year. So I first wanted to start off with the board that I created last year as kind of like a framework for how I will tackle this year. So I will kind of talk through kind of my vision board making process and why I kind of chose the images that I did and the intentions behind them. So I did make a little list here of kind of all of the things that I prioritized on my vision board last year and kind of just my thoughts around that. So first I'll insert a clip of what that vision board looks like. So on this board here, I have that I graduated with my bachelor's. Definitely my biggest thing that I included on this board was a picture of the caps and gowns. I really prioritize studying as well. So you'll also see kind of pictures of coffee shop / kind of like study pictures. I went to a new coffee shop every Monday my last semester of my senior year. That was a goal of mine to really kind of hone in on studying while also enjoying the end of my senior year, because going to coffee shops is something that brings me joy. Another round of pictures that were really important to me that prioritized my relationship. It was really important to me to set aside intentional time, kind of like date nights at home and kind of just enjoying each other's company, which I think we did a really great job on this year. We had a lot of intentional time and really grew in our relationship, as well as my relationship with myself. And kind of tying off of that, it was really important for me that to build a relationship with myself, I wanted to feel comfortable in the space that I am living in. So another kind of round of photos that I have is I included pictures of like a house or like an apartment that kind of has like a homey feel. So as you can see behind me, I feel like I did a pretty decent job at making this apartment feel more like home, a place where I can kind of thrive and feel safe and comfortable in. And so yeah, I do feel like I did pretty well with that this year. Another kind of little tidbit that I have outside of the home is that I went to the Taylor Swift concert this year. So you'll kind of see the hearts image. I actually ended up going to 4 concerts this year, which was not really something I had intended on. At the start of the year, I had only had plans to go to 2 concerts, and I ended up going to a very spontaneous concert in April and went to a music festival in August. Another slew of pictures that I have is kind of pictures of like yoga mats, like exercise, things like that. While I didn't get into cardio running as much as I wanted to, I was really good about going on intentional walks at the end of the summer, and I actually have managed to practice yoga every single day this year without fail, minus the days that I was sick or couldn't move my body because I was in a lot of pain. I did it every day that I comfortably could, so it was definitely over 90% of the days of this year, and that was something I really prioritized. I really prioritized my health, my mental well-being, and I am really proud of myself for doing that this year. I also have a lot of pictures of like future travel plans. So there's like some pictures of kind of like wine in the mountains. I went to Napa Valley last year and I'm actually planning on going this year, so that was kind of something that I had envisioned again. There's kind of some pictures of like mountains, kind of like snowy scenes, Some of those have to do with a trip that I took to Wyoming in the summer. So I got to see mountains, not really that, I mean, there was snow there, but it definitely wasn't as snowy as the picture I included. But I'm still very, very grateful for that trip. And yeah, I just also have like pictures of like whales. I would love to see whales someday. That definitely was not like a 2024 thing. Sometimes I just include photos on there to either kind of fill a space and kind of geared toward like future goals. So that's kind of what some of those pictures are there. Another round of pictures that I also have is I have like some photos of like journaling. And I'm actually really proud of myself for that too. I don't journal every day. I think that's kind of unrealistic for myself, but I do journal weekly, and that is something that I was really good at this year. I journal at least once a week until the end of December. That is when I've realized that I kind of fell off of that. I think I only journaled twice this December. So the longest gap that I had in between journaling was like probably like 2.5 to 3 weeks. And journaling for me is basically just like writing in a diary, just kind of doing like a brain dump, cutting things down so I can look back on them in the future and remember some kind of feelings and moments of my life in my early 20s. So that was my vision board for last year, which definitely kind of inspired the layout and the intention behind this year. But this year I also decided to do it slightly different than previous years, whereas instead of just making a whole big bulletin board just about myself, I also included half of the board as like a big part of just like my relationship and the partnership that I am in. That being said, I will kind of show and explain the intention and the vision for this year. So one of the ways that I make my vision board is I use this, I don't even know what size it is. It's a huge bulletin board that I've had for years and years and years now. It's literally like falling apart, but it does the job. So I just use a really large bulletin board. And then in terms of kind of like my photos or kind of like my inspiration behind the things I'm including in here, I use a lot of the books that I already have. So I have this little like kind of sketchbook. That's where I got some of my drawings from. I have some books that I thrifted from just like the local thrift store. I used this one for a bulletin board project for one of my brothers one year, so I've gotten a lot of cute little things as well as little like kind of crafting books. So even with things like this is just good for like the filler space on your board. It kind of adds like pops of color. They might have some symbols in them that you can kind of add on there, but the majority of the photos and the inspiration that I get from my board comes from just good old Pinterest. I just create a Google Docs and I just kind of find some photos that I find really inspiring, very motivating. I include them all in those Google Docs, and I am very fortunate enough to have a printer at home. It's very expensive to buy printer ink, but I do print off about 3 sheets. I already had a few sheets from last year that I kind of cut up and included in this year's, but I would say with the size of my bulletin board, I probably printed out a total of 6 8x11 printer sheets for this board that I all just created on Google Docs. Kind of how I do it. There's definitely multiple ways. The scrapbooking route is just super popular. I definitely encourage going to like the thrift store and seeing if there's any books there that you find inspiring, cutting those up and then keeping those for other projects in the future. Now that I've gone over my vision board making process over the past few years, I will insert a clip of my vision board, or at least half of my vision board for 2025. All right, so for 2025, a lot of the vision and kind of intentions that I have for this year are very similar to last year because I'm not going to magically become a brand new person just because it's a new numerical year. I am still the same person, but I can choose to go into the year with intentions for how I want to improve my life in very subtle ways. So, for example, a really big goal of mine is I really want to work on my finances this year. I did a little financial recap yesterday of kind of just where I'm at with the year and all of my spending, and let's just say I'm not feeling great about it. My goal for this year is to really be intentional about opening like a retirement account. I am really good. I'm really great with the money that I have. It's about putting it toward the future that I struggle with. So this year, that is a really big goal of mine, is to get on top of my finances. A few other photos that I have included on here is that I really want to focus on my hormonal health this year. I would say I'm a little bit of a more like woo-woo and crunchy girl than some people may peg me to be, but I would really love to focus on my hormonal health and how movement and nutrition is medicine for myself, because I ended up spending the majority of my money on medical bills this year, and I just really want to focus on taking better care of myself, starting with my hormones. I've also included a lot of repeat pictures that I've included last year, so a lot of them are either exactly the same as I included last year, like kind of my exercise yoga portion of my board that I had from last year, I just included in the board that I have this year. I'm really great about doing yoga every day. I'm not really great about introducing cardio or weights into my exercise routine. I don't really have a routine, so I would love to establish some sort of kind of heart rate increasing exercise each week. Some other photos that I've included include some travel photos, and you'll see some mountains on this board as well. I would love to go to Colorado at the end of the year if possible. Colorado is one of those places that always brings me very much joy, so I would really love to find some time to go at some point this year. And I am going back to Napa in April, so I do have some kind of photos that I just included with like wines and travel and stuff like that. You'll also find some photos of like girlhood and like taking photographs and things like that. I really want to be intentional about spending time with my friends this year. I think it's really important to nurture those relationships. I think I got better at it in 2024, but I definitely can improve on being a better friend and reaching out to people and just making intentional time to talk to one another, whether it's on the phone or hanging out. So that is definitely something that I want to prioritize this year, is my friendships, in particular my female friendships. I also have some photos of like hobbies or kind of crafty activities. I recently got into crocheting at the end of 2024, as well as kind of like making polymer clay. That is something that I started in the summer this year. So I really want to hone in on those crafts, delve into new techniques with crocheting and new techniques with making polymer clay. And I am really excited about kind of my crafting slash hobby girl era in 2025, if that's what you want to call it. And then for the second half of my board, that is not so much about me. I'm going to keep a lot of this private because it pertains a lot more to my relationship and kind of the partnership that I do have, but half of my board is dedicated to that and some of our relationship milestones and kind of our vision for the year together. So I will be keeping a lot of that private, but there is obviously only so many things that I'm willing to share online on the internet, and kind of just sharing my intentions for the year is something that I am okay with, but sharing my partner's and I's intentions is something I would like to keep private. And then some of the last kind of few pictures I have on here are just kind of more like filler things, just some things I've kind of been having. I had some like paint strips, so I included some of those on the board. It's just like fun pops of colors and to kind of break up the empty space. I also have some drawings that I included on there, some kind of affirmations on there, as well as just some like symbols of kind of like peace and tranquility and just good intentions. Yeah, that concludes my 2025 vision board as well as my 2024 vision board recap. I hope you enjoyed my first ever video. Please let me know if there's anything else that you'd like me to create. This is all brand new to me, so if the editing sucks, please be kind. This is my first time. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.